I'm Adrian Dix. I'm BC's Minister of Energy and Climate Solutions. We're really honored to be here today on the territory of the Haisla Nation, and I'm going to start by introducing Maureen Nyce, the elected chief of the Haisla First Nation.
Thank you, Adrian. And thank you for being here in Tsamotsa today. As you can see behind us, Tsamotsa means snag beach, or the place of snags. It is a thing that we cannot get rid of. It doesn't matter how many times we cut those logs, they keep coming back. So it's well named. Thank you, Premier Eby and Minister Dix, for visiting our community today. Your ongoing support for our nation's quest for economic independence means a great deal to us, especially as we advance developments in our territory that are aligned with Haisla values. Just over a year ago, Haisla leaders and community members gathered to declare a positive final investment decision for Cedar LNG, Canada's first Indigenous majority-owned LNG facility. So that was a big, big day for us. It was truly a historic day for our people. This achievement is the result of our nation's firm and focused commitment to reclaiming our rightful place and securing a meaningful role in decisions that affect our lands, waters, and future. It also reflects our constitutionally protected title and rights and our stewardship responsibility to our territory. Cedar LNG is proudly the world's first Indigenous majority-owned LNG venture. Our vision from the beginning was to build a clean, responsibly managed LNG facility that advanced economic reconciliation, environmental stewardship, and energy security. We have achieved this through a historic alliance between the Haisla Nation and our corporate partners, creating long-term employment opportunities and laying the foundation for prosperity well into the future. When Indigenous communities lead projects as owners, we ensure that they are done in the most environmentally responsible way and on our terms in our territory. These projects generate the revenue we need to protect our way of life while building a better future for our people. We will continue to support developments that reflect our values, protect our culture and traditions, and contribute meaningfully to the well-being of all Canadians, especially in these turbulent times. As we look ahead, we call on the provincial government to continue walking with us because we have shown what's possible when we work together in true partnership. Thank you for working with us to write a new chapter on how responsible development happens, not just in our territory, but across the province. Together, we will achieve our vision for a better future. The future is already coming to life. Today, we are creating our own revenue stream to invest directly in the infrastructure and services our people need to lead a healthy, fulfilling life, including the beautiful youth center that you see over beside us, which stands as a symbol of hope and opportunity. Before I conclude, I want to pay tribute to our past and present leaders and staff. Your tireless effort over generations have brought us to this moment, and your work continues to make life better for our people today and for generations to come. Wow. I now welcome Premier Eby to say a few words. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Chief Nyce. Thanks for the welcome to the territory, and congratulations on your amazing project. And I know it's taken the whole community to deliver this, and a vision that has been set and worked on for a long time. So I'm really glad to be here on this day to celebrate our partnership together in ensuring prosperity for the Haisla and also for British Columbians and Canadians. I want to thank Minister Dix as well, who will continue to work hard in partnership with you and the Haisla to make this project reality. And he's got a ton of energy, and he wouldn't even take a vacation until we told him that it was a chance to get him to Tidewater. So that was. I'm here all day. It's great to see everybody here. It's great to be on the territory, in the community, to meet with people who have done so much work on this, and to know the transformational effect that this project is going to have in this community. The Haisla have always shown strength and determination and done incredible work protecting culture and language from colonization, and stood with pride for millennia on this territory, and you continue to show leadership, and it is a great honor to join you today. Our country as a whole is facing an economic threat from the President of the United States. This threat to our country's sovereignty, to our economy here in the province as well as nationally, has caused Canadians to reflect on the need for us all to work together to strengthen our economy, to ensure that we can stand on our own 2 feet, to diversify the partners that we trade with, and not to be reliant, as we have for generations, on the Americans, because they have told us that they will not be there for us. And so we need to make sure that we're putting the pieces in place to be successful on our own. And the good news is, for British Columbians out of this challenging set of circumstances, is that we have everything we need to be successful here in this province. We have the people, we have the resources, and we have the access to global markets. BC will be the engine of the new economy in Canada as we build this together from coast to coast to coast. And that powerful combination will ensure prosperity for all British Columbians and for Canadians going forward. Now, if you wanted to design in a lab a project that reflected the values of British Columbians and Canadians, a project that really showed the path forward of how, in this moment, we're going to ensure that we are strong and standing together and building an economy and doing it in a way that is responsible, in a way that Canadians can be proud of, I think you would have to choose the Cedar LNG project. This project is exceptional on so many levels. First of all, that it is Indigenous-led and majority-owned. This is the largest Indigenous-owned energy project in North America. Second, that it's being done in an environmentally responsible way. That from the plant itself, with minimal impact on the land, to the fact that the plant will be electrified to ensure that this is some of the lowest carbon LNG in the world, displacing high carbon LNG from less responsible jurisdictions, to the fact that it enables us to access markets other than the United States for resources, getting more value for all British Columbians. No matter how you look at this project, it is incredibly positive for our province and our country as a whole. And I want to thank the Haisla and their partners for their work on this. It's incredible. What does it mean on the ground? We're talking about 500 jobs during construction, 100 jobs when the project is in operation, billions of dollars of economic activity, contribution to provincial GDP and to the community here in Haisla. It will assist us in delivering services that British Columbians depend on, and it will aid the Haisla in their goal of economic self-sufficiency and growth. This project is a huge triumph, Chief, for you and for everyone who's been involved. And it is my honor to announce that the province of British Columbia has reached an agreement with the Haisla to contribute $200 million to the transmission lines, to the transformers, to the electrification that will enable this to be one of the lowest emission plants in the entire world. I'm very excited for what's ahead. We're going to keep BC moving forward. We're going to create jobs in every corner of this province. We're going to do it in partnership with Indigenous people, and we're going to do it in a way that respects high environmental standards that all British Columbians and Canadians expect us to do. And we're going to lead this country in economic growth as we respond to the threats we face externally. And we're going to do it together. So thank you for joining us here today. It's a triumphant day for the Haisla, for the province and the country. Congratulations, Chief.
Well, just a few words before we take questions. I just wanted to, first of all, express my appreciation for the welcome here today, for your Strong words, elected Chief Nyce, and our thanks to the community. The Premier has said it as well as it can be said. When we started to work on LNG projects, when this government came to office in 2017, there were no LNG projects in BC. And we set 5 conditions: that maximizing benefits, people of the region, people of the province; ensuring jobs, people of the region, people of the province; addressing issues of climate change; addressing First Nations issues in a fundamental way, which is hugely important. We set these conditions because it was important to not just build LNG, but build it right. We had not been successful up to that point in getting to FID. This project exemplifies all of those conditions: a fair return to the people, First Nations involvement, transformational change. I just want to acknowledge the work done by the Haisla First Nation on this question, because on the question of return and making it an important change for generational wealth, for training and ensuring jobs in community, and for electrifying the project, which our agreement, the Premier just announced, establishes today. The need to ensure that we, while we're sending LNG all around the world, are addressing issues of climate here. This is a profound achievement. We've gone in BC from no projects and no dollars in FID to 3 projects under construction, including this one, $40 to $50 billion in capital investment, and potentially more to come even here, as we were discussing this morning. This is the achievement, first and foremost, of the Haisla First Nation, of the people of this region, of the people of BC. It's something that we're doing together in BC and Canada, and I'm so proud and so honored to be part of it today. And with that, I'd like to welcome the Premier back to the podium for the question and answer period, which he is also honored to do, I think. And so we'll take it from there. Back to you.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you, Minister Dix. Thank you, Premier. And thanks, everyone, for joining us here today. We have media here in person and on the phone lines, and all reporters will have 1 question and 1 follow-up. For media on the phones, please remember to press *1 to enter the queue. And we're going to start here in person with Helen Asante from CFTK Terrace. Go ahead, Helen.
All right, thank you. Greetings to all leaders gathered here. My name is Haisla Nation. My first question goes to the Premier. What is being done to ensure long-term affordability of energy for British Columbians?
Thanks. Great question. One of the big advantages we have as a province is affordable energy. And that is good news for residents of British Columbia, and it's also good news for business. We know that what's going to drive economic growth in the province is, in fact, our access to clean, cheap energy. And so ensuring that we continue to preserve that for British Columbians and for industry is crucial. We have had BC hydro rates that have been near flat for a number of years now. And we are the 2nd lowest priced jurisdiction for electricity in North America, a fact that we're very proud of. We have put out a call for power too now, where we have called for 10,000 gigawatts of electricity. That's enough to power 1 million homes using wind and solar and clean energy. This is a call for power. The bids that have come back in the first call are 40% cheaper than the call for power that was done in 2015. So we're recognizing 2 things. One is we have to increase our ability to provide energy in the province. We have a rapidly growing province. We have businesses that are coming here. They want to operate their mines on electricity instead of on diesel. They want to use electricity for LNG instead of gas drive turbines. We got to make sure that we're able to provide that electricity, but also the electricity that people need at home as well. It's our advantage. It's a focus, and we're going to continue to ensure we're delivering that.
Follow-up, Helen?
My follow-up question is to the Minister. What message do you have for those who are concerned about climate impact?
The Premier has just talked about our Clean Energy Action Plan. There's no one in Canada and really no time in the history of British Columbia since the 1960s that we've taken so many steps to develop clean energy projects. The projects the Premier described in the first call for power are all, by the way, majority owned by First Nations, which is a significant difference as well. So clean energy, energy where when the profits are made, they are returned to communities where the energy is being produced, which is, I think, an extraordinary thing. We have to continue to do that. We have to look to build out clean, firm power as well. And we have to build, I think, the economy of the province. The economy requires more energy, and if it's not clean energy, then we're going to go backwards on climate change, not ahead. The President of the United States has taken action to say to clean energy companies, get out of the United States. Well, we say come here, because we think that that is the response to climate change, making sure that our enormous opportunities for economic growth are founded on more clean energy in our province. Well, the second example is what we're doing today, the lowest emission LNG in the world. You know, sometimes people compare LNG to coal. We don't need to compare LNG to coal. This is the best LNG in the world. Our market position, our proximity to the Asian market makes it the best LNG in the world. And it's the lowest emission LNG in the world. And that is an achievement. So we're not displacing, it's not just a question of displacing coal or other dirtier fuels. It's displacing other LNG, which has dramatically higher emissions. If you take all of the LNG projects in BC, it's less than half the average rate of emission of LNG projects around the world. So what the Haisla First Nation has done here is something exceptional. And what we have to continue to do in BC is continue to make progress, which everyone in BC, most especially First Nations, want to do, which is take action on climate change.
Thank you, Minister. Next, we'll head to the phone lines with Katie DeRosa from CBC. Go ahead, Katie.
Hi, Premier. Yesterday, you raised your concerns about ferry funding and the disproportionate funding for British Columbia compared to the East Coast. I'm wondering in the last 24 hours if you've heard anything from the Prime Minister's office about your request to relook at BC's ferry funding.
We had a meeting yesterday with MPs from British Columbia, and I shared with them my concern about BC not having access to this ferry funding that's available in Eastern Canada. Certainly because all these MPs are from British Columbia, they understood the issue immediately. And I had a commitment from them that they were going to take that message back to Ottawa. My hope is to be able to meet shortly with the Prime Minister, to be able to talk with him about how we can ensure that BC gets not special access, not different access, just the same access based on population that other provinces get access to in terms of federal government programming. If the East has a ferry program, then the West should have a ferry program. It's not a complicated message, and one I hope to be able to deliver until we start to see some action on it from Ottawa.
Follow-up, Katie?
We're learning today that the IHIT is taking control of the investigation into the individual who died at Menno Homes in Abbotsford, which is a care home. Just wondering about how you respond to what the residents might be feeling, how concerning that is, that there could be criminality involved in a death from someone from a care home.
Well, certainly, anytime there's a loss of life, there's concern, especially in an environment like a care home. There are always questions and concerns that might be raised about that. I would defer to police to share any information that they may have about this. It's obviously a sensitive matter, and I have confidence in IHIT and the team to ensure that the community is appropriately informed and to get to the bottom of whatever the concerns are.
Next, we'll head to Alec Lazenby from the Vancouver Sun.
Hi, Premier. I know you're there celebrating Cedar LNG today, but I did want to ask you about LNG Canada and what your knowledge is in terms of the final investment decision, what's going to be needed to get that over the line, and how quickly we might the resolution on that decision?
Yeah, I'm going to have the opportunity to visit the LNG Canada site tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that visit. This is the largest private sector investment in Canadian history. The first shipment went to Asia very recently. It's my first chance to visit following that. And we're in conversations with the project proponents. We're very hopeful that they will make a decision to move ahead with phase 2. We don't have final timing from them yet on that, but we are working with them on that. Of course, it's the LNG Canada project and an agreement that they entered into with the Haisla that enabled the Cedar LNG project to take place as well. The benefits that have flown from LNG Canada to communities across the north and that will flow to the province in the form of billions of dollars of contribution to provincial and national GDP are an example of why we think the federal government should be paying particular attention to projects in British Columbia, because we have the ability to help the Prime Minister transform Canada's economy and diversify our markets directly. And that project and phase 2 are great examples of that.
Follow-up, Alec?
Yes, in terms of my follow-up, Senior Advocate Dan Levitt came out with a report today talking about the lack of long-term care beds in BC, how the wait list has gone from 1,500 roughly in 2018 to over 7,200 currently, and saying that, this is an increasing strain on ERs and hospitals with people not being able to get the care that they need, having long wait lists to get into long-term care. Just your response to the report and your comments on what the government is doing to help build new facilities, but also help reduce some of these strains on the system.
Yeah, this is thanks, Al. This is a challenge that that people have seen coming for a while. We have an aging population in Canada and in British Columbia, particularly. This is a group that will need long-term care support. And for families that have an aging family member and they're requiring not hospital-level assistance, but more than what can be offered at home, they'll know the challenge that we're facing here in British Columbia. It's not a unique one. It's a challenge across Canada. The hard part about this is that from 2007 to 2017, there were almost no long-term care beds built in this province, which is a shocking thing. But that was a set of decisions that were made by the previous government. Since forming government, we have either replaced or built new, replaced or added more than 5,500 long-term care beds. We have to add a lot more. The Minister of Infrastructure is currently having a look at how we deliver long-term care beds to be more cost efficient. Given the huge demand that we know is out there, we have to build faster, we have to build more, and we have to build it more affordably to meet the demand that's out there. There are two challenges if we don't. One is the dignity of people who need this kind of care and making sure they get the care they need. And the other challenge is for our hospitals, for people who are in those hospital beds that we need for people who are acutely ill, to be able to get them out of hospital into a more appropriate care environment. I certainly welcome the recommendations from the Seniors Advocate. We are working hard to deliver more long-term care beds for British Columbians because we know they're urgently needed. And it's projects like Cedar LNG, LNG Canada, the Highland Valley Copper Project, Tech's bringing forward the $30 billion worth of capital projects in the Northwest related to mining that will assist us in paying for this essential social infrastructure that we need across the province.
Next, we'll head to Aaron MacArthur from Global News. Go ahead, Aaron.
Premier, you mentioned Donald Trump and his impact on the Canadian economy, but the president and the White House are putting support behind Alaska's LNG industry. Similar products, same markets, with a significantly less complicated regulatory regime. Can Canada, British Columbia, win this race? Win the fight to gain access to these markets?
Well, there's a one-word answer: yes. And the reason for that, the simplicity of our answer, is the president's conduct. Here you have an individual that is insulting and demeaning other countries, that insists that his only concern is Americans, that he will make arbitrary and extrajudicial decisions on a whim announced through his own social media platform. If you are a government in Asia looking for reliable energy sources that you can count on and a partner that you can count on that isn't going to suddenly cut off your access to energy, that isn't suddenly going to massively increase the tariffs on the energy or taxes on the energy that you're purchasing, then nobody would be looking at the United States right now. Canada is a reliable partner. We are a partner that can deliver affordably to Asia. We're a direct shot. You don't have to go through any canals. You don't have to worry about drought. And we are delivering the lowest carbon LNG in the world. And when you put those factors together, it means that foreign governments that are still concerned about climate change, of which there are many, are able to meet their own climate goals, are able to meet their energy demand, are able to support energy transition in their economies, and able to do so in a way that is reliable and that they can count on. Canada will win this race, and we will diversify our markets because of our Canadian values. And those are on display on this project right here at Cedar LNG.
Do you have a follow-up, Aaron?
Yes, thank you. The federal government has pulled support federal funding for safer supply earlier this year. What does that mean provincially? Do you continue to fund these programs individually or solely, or do you also pull back funding for safer supply?
I guess, well, let me take a step back. We have had to take some significant steps in the province to ensure we're addressing the issue of diversion, issues of concern that were raised. Particularly, I'm here in the north of the province right now among Indigenous communities in the north to say that the approach that had previously been taken around prescribed alternatives was not working. And so we're in the process of transitioning to a witnessed regime, which means that someone has to actually watch you and you have to be under the supervision of a physician or a nurse practitioner in order to access the medications, significantly tightening the regime. We've dramatically increased treatment beds. We're working with the First Nations Health Authority. They're in the process of delivering 3 additional treatment centers across the province. The opioid overdose crisis that we're facing in the province is devastating for so many families. And no jurisdiction has solved it yet. We're glad that deaths are finally coming down, but they're still too unacceptably high. So we're going to continue to work with public health, with people with lived experience, with the Indigenous communities, and people across the province to ensure that we are keeping people alive, getting them into treatment, and helping them rebuild their lives.
Next, we'll head to Penny Dathlos from CTV News. Go ahead, Penny.
Hi, Premier. I just wanted to jump back to the Seniors Advocate report. Can you clarify, is your government going to be acting on the 6 recommendations?
Yes, we, I think, and I welcome the Seniors Advocates recommendations. These are acute issues for families, and respite care, long-term care are all crucially important. We are working on those recommendations. We'll work with the Seniors Advocate to ensure that the work that we're doing is in line with what the Seniors Advocate is hearing from the front lines, from seniors. But for example, our work around SAFER, expansion of the SAFER supports came from, in part, recommendations from the Seniors Advocate, as well as what we know that seniors need access to rental housing and that rents continue to be challenging for many seniors. And so we'll work with the Seniors Advocate around ensuring we deliver, but we share those concerns of the Seniors Advocate, and they are priorities for our government. What we really need to do is deliver more and faster in a challenging fiscal environment, and that's the big piece that we face.
Do you have a follow-up, Penny?
I do, yeah. Just going back to today's announcement, do you see this facility as a model for other LNG plants in the future, whether it comes to the First Nations partnership, the low carbon nature of it, or is this just a kind of a one-off project that it's a unique confluence of factors and we can never really expect to see something like this again?
Well, I've been clear with industry, and it doesn't matter which industry in the province. If you have a land-based project that you're working on, it's a mine, it's forestry projects, it's LNG, you name it, you're going to need to have agreements and partnerships with First Nations. We want to move quickly in this province. We want to ensure we're growing our economy, creating jobs, creating prosperity for British Columbians of every background. And we know the only way we can move quickly is if we move together with First Nations in this province. The days of battling it out in court, if a nation, if it's a situation where a nation feels they got to take us to court, then that's what that nation needs to do. But for us, our preference is always going to be, this is what we've communicated to industry, is sit down with the nations early. You're doing exploration, sit down before you do the exploration. Start early, build that long-term relationship, and that way when you get to this stage, you've got a proud partner standing here, you've got a government able to expedite permits, we're all able to work together, and it actually brings down costs and increases certainty. So this is far from a one-off. This is the model. This is the future for British Columbia, and frankly, it's the present as well. Chief, do you have any comments on that?
I do not. You've pretty much covered
sure?
everything that I would have
Have
said.
anything you want to say?
You covered all my comments.
Okay, thanks, Penny. Next, we'll head to Brenna Owen from the Canadian Press. Go ahead, Brenna.
Yeah, thank you. I also have a question related to the overdose crisis. Premier, there are motions in Victoria and Nanaimo to ask Island Health to close overdose prevention sites in those cities. And some officials are saying the sites are contributing to issues with crime and drug use, and in Nanaimo's case, safety concerns among municipal staff who work nearby. We did get a response from the health ministry saying the sites themselves are expected to take action to mitigate, quote, street disorder. Is it fair to expect them to take that on? And what is your response to these motions in Victoria and Nanaimo?
Well, I mean, these are incredibly challenging issues. We need people not to be using drugs in the doorways of stores, in people's backyards, and back alleys, on sidewalks, and we need people to stay alive if they're using drugs. If they overdose, that they can quickly have that overdose reversed. It's also a way to get people contact with the medical system through these sites. There absolutely can be sites that are incompatible in terms of location with surrounding businesses and other activities. We're always willing to engage in conversation with cities to ensure that these sites are properly located. It's a challenge for us to navigate. In terms of issues of street disorder related to addiction and mental health, our work is advancing quickly with Dr. Vigo to respond to a particular group of people that have serious brain injury, as well as addiction, brain injury from repeated overdose, to get them the care and the mental health support that they need in every part of the province. And I look forward to having more to share about that in the early fall. But for the conversations with Nanaimo and Victoria, Minister of State Terry Young is working closely with both of those cities to ensure that the multiple programs we have at the provincial level are working together. Often it's a small group of people causing an outsized amount of chaos, and we can target those individuals with services and wraparound supports, and where necessary, additional police attention to ensure that we're addressing the disorder issue that's causing the concern in the community. But it does require that cooperation between the city and the province, service providers, police, prosecutors, and we're building that infrastructure, in fact, in those cities as we speak.
Follow up, Brenna?
Yeah, please, this is a bit of a different one from a colleague. Premier, I just wanted to ask your reaction to an American singer, Sean Foyt, who is affiliated with the MAGA movement in the U.S. He's performing in Kelowna and Abbotsford next month. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't share this man's politics. I disagree with him using music to go after people who are gay. I think it's pretty reprehensible, and I don't agree with the message that he's promoting.
We have time for one more question, and we're going to go to Shannon Waters from the Narwhal. Go ahead, Shannon.
Hi there. I was hoping you could tell us how much power Cedar LNG is expected to use and whether this transmission line and infrastructure that the province is contributing to is expected to fully meet that need by the time the facility starts operating. If not, what power source will Cedar LNG be using in the meantime?
Okay, thanks. I'll pass that to the Minister of Energy.
Yeah, and you'll find the details on this in the press release, Shannon. It's a 7.4 kilometer, 272 volt transmission line that connects Cedar LNG to the hydro grid. Of course, there's distribution and nearshore electrification as well. So that's it's our expectation that this is going to be a successful project. And part of today's announcement is ensuring that it's successful in a way that's really important for the province, for the people of the province, but also for the Haisla Nation.
Do you have a follow-up, Shannon?
Yeah, I'll try querying the ministry on like the specifics of the nuts and bolts. I am curious though, when the announcement about giving Cedar LNG the green light was made, there were some regulations put in place for LNG projects being ready to go net zero by 2030. Those have since been altered to allow for different sources of power to be used if the clean electricity is not immediately available. And I wanted to ask the minister, like, do you expect that Cedar LNG will have access to clean electricity by the time it starts operating? And if not, do you have an idea at this point in time what its power source will be if it's not that clean electricity?
So the answer is yes. You're talking about a change or a clarification, really, of a policy to ensure that and this is, we're not talking about specifically the Cedar LNG project, but all others, where there isn't electrification available, what approach we take. There has to be an effective plan in place to ensure that an LNG project is electrified. And so that policy was made. That policy clarification occurred a couple of months ago, and it's pretty straightforward. But this project is full steam ahead.
Thank you, Premier. Thank you, Minister Dix. Thank you, Elected Chief Nyce. And thanks, everyone, for joining us here today. That concludes today's event.
We are going to